10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And those of you that love CompetitionPlus.com, it is the live edition, the Power Hour. I'm Lee Kraft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer, and over there, Mr. Dugenet Bland, Not Bland 21. That's where you can follow him. He's also got a great show, The Not Bland Show, on his platform, The Not Bland Show, on Facebook, YouTube, and elsewhere. I am coming from you from, well, walk-ons of, matter of fact, the nice waitress is bringing me my wings now, and we're ready to dive in here in West Monroe at Walk-Ons and enjoy the Competition Plus Power Hour, some wings, you, Mr. Bland, and we've also got an interesting guest in Demarcus Rogers.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, and especially with you having wings and likely your beverage of choice. This is going to be a good one. I'm kind of jealous of that, and I'm hungry.
Hey, I have learned traveling the country and still attempting to do live shows. Like, okay, I can't drink coffee all the time at Starbucks. I've got to figure out some other places. Well, I have figured out that Buffalo Wild Wings has guest internet, and that works out pretty good to have a show from. And Walk-Ons is a great chain as well. And they're spread out beyond Louisiana, but their home is in Louisiana, obviously with a bistro and how they've got it spelt. But they have a good menu. It's got a Cajun flair. It's a bit more upscale from Buffalo Wild Wings. I dare say I thoroughly enjoy, and they got guest Wi-Fi. Therefore, I am here, going to enjoy some wings. And I just might even let you do most of the talking, Dugenet. I don't know.
Sounds good. Yeah, I've been to Walk-Ons. It actually is a pretty nice place. Definitely a step up from Buffalo Wild Wings for sure.
I just wish that Waffle House had Wi-Fi.
Man, that would be awesome.
Waffle House doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Which is crazy, of all things.
I mean, maybe it's smart because if you could go live from Waffle House, there's no telling what would be seen at Waffle House live.
Yeah, I have some really, really good Waffle House stories. Yeah, there's no telling what you'd see.
Me too. So, Demarcus Rogers, we're going to have him on in a few moments. He's the Director of Operations at the Texas Motorplex. Dugenet, I love talking with these people in the sport of drag racing and motorsports as well because, yes, I thoroughly enjoy talking to a driver, to a crew chief, to a promoter. But one of these individuals that is behind the scenes but yet makes an event enjoyable for racer and fan alike, so important to hear from them, and we're going to get that opportunity tonight.
Absolutely. You get to kind of hear how all this stuff comes about. A lot of us only get to see the finished product, but you know what it takes to get to this point so that product can be benefited and enjoyed by fans. That is something interesting to be able to dissect and listen to.
Matter of fact, with fan enjoyment, the Texas Motorplex, they certainly understand that, and they know how to have big events. And many that are watching this, they're going to certainly be thanking the NHRA Fall Nationals, the Stampede of Speed. But that is not the only big events they have. They have already had big events this year, and they're about to have one of the big ones. Matter of fact, the biggest chaos event ever this weekend at the Texas Motorplex. They know how to do it, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. They really do put on a show each and every time. It's really it's a model for that others could really follow. It'd be tough. It'd be tough because they really do it big. But man, yeah, it is something what they do there at the Texas Motorplex.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Well, man, I think without any further ado, we need to transition. We need to get Mr. Rogers on here, chat with him about the Texas Motorplex, the events, what he does with his role there at the Texas Motorplex. And while we take the moment to transition, if you would, pump up the numbers on the show for us. Hit that like button, hit the share button, tell someone we're talking drag racing and that it's right here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. And in general, those who pump us up, Weldon High Performance with their spectacular pumps. A word from them in a moment. Hit the like button, hit the share button, dive into the comment section. What would you like for us to talk about later? And what questions do you have for Mr. Rogers? He's next after this word from Weldon High Performance. Demarcus Rogers, Director of Operations for the famed, historic, grand, big, Texas-sized, the Texas Motorplex on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Man, good to see you.
Good to see you guys. What's going on? How are y'all doing?
Well, I ain't got to take a bite of wings yet, so I won't let Tuesday take a look.
I didn't appreciate that, and I wasn't going to say anything about it, but I guarantee you your wings have nothing on my barbecue.
Oh,
man. Whoa. Man, yep, okay.
I wasn't going to throw that up there, but since you did,
you won the food battle on air tonight.
Yeah, hands down. It's over.
Dude, he's like, let me go to the kitchen real quick.
Yeah, I'm serious. It's like, man, y'all making me hungry. Now, Demarcus, what is it? I want to know, what do these war rooms look like when you guys come up with these ideas, these things that are outside of the box to not only put on display for fans, but then at times you have to level up the level up that you guys already displayed for the following year. What are these war rooms like and these ideas bouncing around in there?
You know, we have a massive team at the Texas Motorplex, and Billy Meyer, Christy, and Barry, and the Johnson family. They do a great job. Christy and Billy, you know, they'll sit and they'll have a conversation, and Christy will be like, "Hey, what about this?" And I mean, you got to think about it. Billy Meyer, he's done this a long time to build this great facility, and here we are in 2024, still going strong. And when we're doing things different. You know, drag racing's been the same for so many years. People show up, they see drag racing. Now, you know, we're in 2024. People want some entertainment. So, you know, we're adding the entertainment side to it. They get it, they see it, and everything that we do, you know, we're trying to make it family friendly, fun, and entertainment. So when you're there, you're just like, man, I can't, what is the next one's going to be like? What's the next one's going to be like? So the war rooms really are not that bad. They're just like, oh, I think that'll work. I think that'll work. But no, it's not really much of a war room. It's just a lot of communicating, talking, getting things together, and making it happen.
You talked about event, and you know, that is something that I think more need to be in tune with, because in this day and age, you know, it's hard to just sell one thing, because in this day and age, people consume things differently by phone, by internet. It's very quick. So there needs to be things, especially for the young kids today, that catch their attention.
And that's you know, you bring that up. That's really, I mean, we're in DFW, so a lot happens in DFW. We have a track 20 miles east of us. We got another track 30 miles west of us. There's another track a couple of hours south of us. I mean, within a 150 mile radius, we have 5 tracks. And then not to mention everything that happens in DFW just alone. I mean, you have the Rangers, you have the Mavericks, you have, you know, everything, Six Flags, everything is in just close proximity. So, you know, you got to make it worth their while. You know, you're just not coming to see drag racing. You're coming to make memories, experience things, and make things just the weekend great, in drag racing.
Well, y'all certainly know how to do that, and it is certainly an interesting market, as you mentioned, with so many tracks that are there, with so many entertainment options in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You can hop on I-35 and be anywhere else very quickly concerning entertainment as well. Demarcus, how did you get to the Texas Motorplex? What is your path and journey in motorsports to director of operations? Does it start in the classic scenario of holding the handle in the burnout box and making sure everybody has enough water, and you got that one dude who's like, no, I want it there, I want it right there?
Hey, I sprayed water, and I still will. I mean, I got at the Motorplex. I started actually at Texas Raceway. I was there for a while, and then when it closed, I got a call and was invited over to Texas Motorplex, and it was actually supposed to be for one event, and it turned into another year, and then 2 years ago, I retired from the Home Depot. I was an operations manager there. I was with the company for 20 years, and I was like, man, this would be a dream job to just work with cars and just do everything, And then here I am at a drag strip, and I get to work with cars. I get to work with the event, and I get to see all types of cars. So I kind of say, I'm having the best of both worlds. It's fun. I tell you, I didn't, coming from a little small 8th mile track to, the Texas Motorplex and the size of it, when you come through the tunnel and, the events that are going on now, it's planning and setting all that up is completely different. So for me, I'm still in my prime. I'm going on my 3rd year full-time here with the track. I love it. It is, the Myers and the Johnson family is a great group to work for. The team is a great team. Everyone in the office is at least 10 years plus it's been in position. So, it's not like we have a team of people that don't know what they're doing. We have 19 full-time employees, and we work our butts off for these events, and it's a big deal. I love it. I said at I'm 40 now. What I did say was at 50 I was going to get me a gas station, and so I don't know how that's working with the way the world is going right now, but I'm a top end guy. I love to be at the top end past the finish line, so that's usually where you'll see me during the events. But I've been the water guy, I've been the broom guy, I've been the blower guy, I've been the guy yelled at, I've been security. I've done it all. I've actually last week, when we had 2K, everybody in the office, our full-time staff, even our owners, was out there parking cars at Texas 2K. So, when we say we get our hands dirty, we don't have a problem getting our hands dirty. Just whatever we got to do to let every fan, spectator, racer all know that when you come into the Texas Motorplex, we want you to enjoy every minute of it. When you turn off 287, we want you pull up to the back of the tower and you see the Texas flag on the back of the tower. That's the first indication that you are at the greatest drag strip in America. And when you get onto the property, we just want you to just enjoy every moment of it, soak it in, and have fun and enjoy the races.
That's fantastic. Now, you guys have this big race that they call Funny Car Chaos. Tell people a little bit about it and why they need to be there.
Man, we're talking 80 plus nitro nostalgia, funny cars to nitro chaos. We've got the Funny Car Chaos. We got the nitro chaos. We have the TDRA, a lot of old school drag racing, and you get that old school feeling too. And from just even walking the pitch, you see some of the older style cars. I think today we looked at Wayne Hoffman's, Al Hoffman's old funny car today as they were unloading. The pictures are up there. The car is beautiful. It still looked like it ran when it was running John Force back in 94, 95. You get that old classic nostalgia feeling. The atmosphere is there. And what I love about, this event, chaos brings chaos. Like it's some fun chaos. You're going to love it. But, you get to see the behind the scenes work. A lot of these teams, the owners, they work for themselves. They bust their knuckles, blood, sweat, and tears. They're out there just doing it all. And they leave it all on the track. Like, they're not saving parts. They're going to go out there. If they got to blow something up to have a good race and put on a good show, they're going to blow that stuff up. And I'm okay cleaning it up. But, it's a fun deal. Chris Graves and the entire Funny Car Chaos teams, I tell you, they know how to really put a show on for the fans. And we're just glad to be the season opener for Funny Car Chaos.
It's going to be a spectacular season opener. First time Nitro Chaos will ever be at the Texas Motorplex. And this double thing became a reality after Chaos in the Cornfield at Eddyville Raceway Park last year. And it seemed like everybody wants it now. And we're glad that it is certainly at the Texas Motorplex. It is going to be spectacular. You've got Ronnie Young making a return in the Blue Max, the Plymouth Arrow version. Jade Cook with her Pro-Charged funny car, where there's also going to be a turbocharged funny car. You've got nitro funny cars, methanol funny cars.
Every combination is there.
Just about every combination you can imagine is there, with heavy hitters that are known in and out of the NHRA and on the match racing circuit and beyond. And Nitro Chaos is going to have the biggest field it's ever had in the history of the brand. So it's going to be a spectacular show. I am certainly looking forward to it. I'll be there. I know what to expect. It's going to be even better than what I expect. I'm curious, though, how did Texas 2K go? Because when it was down in Houston, that might have been an event that lives in infamy for walls being moved and cars being destroyed. So how did Texas 2K go at the Texas Motorplex?
Oh my gosh. All right. So leading up to Texas 2K, we were all nervous. Peter and Seth and the whole 2K guys, we had weekly meetings with them, and we had a bunch of meetings with our staff. The week going into it, I think we were all just very nervous because we know how powerful and how massive this event was. It was in Houston for all these years, and then it comes to us for this year. So when the team started pulling in on Monday, the atmosphere was there. Everybody was excited, one, that it stayed in Texas. So that was the first thing. And then, a lot of backing, a lot of people from, the DFW area. Peter is actually from the DFW area, not too far from where I'm at. And it was great. The racers, they pulled in, they were excited. And Monday, I don't think I slept any on Monday. Christy, she didn't sleep. And it was new because we did the roll racing, and the way that they did the roll racing is not traditionally how we always see roll racing. So, they was like, man, we're going to do a little stuff under the tower. And we was like, we ain't never had that here. And Billy Meyer was like, I don't know. But you know what? Billy, he great owner, because he's open to it. He sees it. He sees that this is where motorsports is going. And Tuesday, perfect, no issues. Wednesday, perfect, no issues. Thursday, perfect, no issue. I mean, everything was great. I only had 2 cars going to Sand Trap, which was surprising. The first guy, he went in a Sand Trap. He said he had $10,000 worth of brakes on his Lamborghini. He wanted to see how well they worked. I told him, I said, well, maybe you need to go back and add another $5,000 to that, because the $10,000 brakes didn't work. The other guy, I don't know. I think he was trying to see how far he can go with it. I don't know. But it was great. 8 rounds of qualifying, the most ever in the Texas 2K. A lot of personal bests. And then we get to Saturday night. We ended Saturday with a little weather, and it was supposed to rain a couple of hours, and it didn't rain a couple of hours. It actually rained all night. So me and Ben, our ticketing manager, Christy, we all went out to eat. Eric, our competition director, we all went out to eat, and we was like, okay, the storm's going to fly over, and it didn't. And the next morning, our parking lot was just like, oh man. So we parked everybody into the spectator lot. But we did the best we could. We used every bit of property at the Texas Motorplex to get everybody in there. But I tell you, Texas 2K was the perfect event. And despite what happened on Sunday, it was a perfect event. I can't wait for 2025. I don't know how we're going to top it because, I mean, we set the bar, just listening and hearing the feedback from a lot of the racers and how, things went. So now it's just like, okay, we went back to the drawing boards. We had a meeting. We always grade ourselves after these events and see, what it is that we did right, what we did wrong, and what we can improve. And we all just kind of sat around and was like, man, we've got some work to do for 2025 because, we set the bar there for 2024. But Texas 2K, it was very fun. It was very fun.
Demarcus, with that event, what kind of crowd was it? I'm sure that was a different crowd than what you're going to see at the Texas Fall Nationals for an NHRA national event. So what were some of the similarities? What were some of the differences? What were things that you noticed with your trained, keen, experienced eye as director of operations?
Well, with the one, they all love drag racing. With the Texas 2K crowd, it was a lot of younger people. And I mean, these were young people that they have a Honda Civic and they're proud about it. They may go 14, 15 seconds, but you know what? They're proud about it. And, they street racing. We saw several middle-aged people. I mean, we didn't see the old, I hate to say old or the elders of the sport there, but this was a massive, I'd say 35 and under crowd that just come from all over the world. I mean, from Germany, Australia. I mean, just to this event alone, I think that Texas 2K is a great event. It sometimes it sucks that we only do it once a year, but I think it's going to get better. It's going to get bigger.
What are some of the cool things you guys have outside as far as the event side of Chaos?
Oh man, outside of Chaos, we got Stars Over Texas Music Festival. So, I mean, we have Stampede to Speed. So before we go into our national event, we do this massive concert. We clear out the pits. We launch lanterns. It's kind of the calm before the storm. And we our whole team, we get our families together. We launch lanterns, like I said, and then we have normally 2 days. This year, we're going to have 3 days. Tickets are on sale, stampedespeed.com, Stars Over Texas. This year we have the Eclipse as well, which, we're coming out of Funny Car Chaos. We're going to open up our pits and open up the property, let people park and just, watch the Eclipse and enjoy family time. Street Outlaws, we're looking to really turn the Texas Motorplex into a real multi-facility event place.
Demarcus, I have to ask, with the Eclipse coming, Camp Cosmico, I feel like something Harry Potter is going to happen there. Nonetheless, when was the moment that someone cried, Eureka, and they realized that the Texas Motorplex is like smack dab in the middle of the path of totality?
We actually knew, we actually kind of knew it when Ennis and Waxahachie really just started jumping on it. We was like, man, this is going to turn out to be bigger than, what we thought. And I mean, you got both cities, and we're dab slap in the middle of both cities. So you got both cities doing something. Probably every city in North Texas is going to be hosting some type of festival for the Eclipse. For us, Camp Cosmico is just a tailgating backyard party where you can you and the family come hang out, put your blankets out, put your chairs out, have a picnic, and we're just going to have a good old fashioned time, make memories. I mean, I believe they said the next one would be in like 600 something years. I mean, I don't even know what's going to happen in 600 years, but it's Monday will definitely be something that it'll be emotional for some, to see something like that, just to see, God's creation and everything that he's done for us, allow us to see something like that. And it's just the magnitude when you just look up there and you see this eclipse and, just going across and, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it's pitch black dark, you're really going to think about it and just be like, wow, the earth is amazing. And the things God has done for us and the things that he's done on the earth it's amazing. So we're just going to, we invite everybody, come on out to the Texas Motorplex. We'll start parking you guys, get you guys in, and we're just going to have a good old time.
I definitely wish I could be there for that. I'm going to be in the 70% zone.
So let's do this now. Let's set the record. We're not going to set the record straight. You will be here next year. Matter of fact, we'll talk about getting you down here for Stampede. You don't want to miss Stampede. Lee, tell them. Stars over Texas, you don't want to miss it.
That's what I've heard.
Look, the concert is great. The drag racing is great. They make an event all week. I will be honest with you, the lantern program of lighting those lanterns and letting them loose is one of the coolest things you can actually experience all week. It's strange. It's so simple, but yet so moving.
It'll make the strongest man cry.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
But I do also find it funny. Last year, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, I was in the pit taking photos during the concert, and everyone starts lighting their lanterns, and some of them didn't get a good lift off. And you become this lantern savior in the pit as they're falling, getting caught, and you're like, go.
And watch your hair. I mean, I don't know. That's probably why I ain't got no hair, and I'm glad I ain't got no hair. So right now I just got to watch my beard. But yeah, no, you're right. You get to lighten those things, and then people they hold them and then they try and blow them off. I mean, you get people blowing them off, and then all of a sudden you'll see strangers come out trying to help you lift them off, and stuff like that. I mean, this past year, I mean, there was a lady, she was crying, she couldn't get it up, and I didn't know her story. All I knew is whatever had her. This was a magical moment, and she needed to get that lantern up, and I helped her get that lantern up, and I mean, just a sigh of relief. It's emotional. I mean, it really taps you into the softer side and just lets you know. I mean, even though we're not drag racing, all that politics and everything that happens out in the world, all that stuff ends off of 287. When you come on this property, especially at a Lantern Fest, man, we're all one big happy family. There's everybody's helping each other, enjoying it. You got to come see it, dude. You got to come see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make that trip.
Demarcus, from what I understand, if you get your tailgating pass ahead of time, there's significant savings if you do it ahead of time. So if you're going to go to the Texas Motorplex, go by the website, get your ticket now.
TexasMotorplex.com, StampedeOfSpeed.com. Come see us, Funny Car Chaos. Guys, I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Do you have a prediction for the A field winner of Funny Car Chaos?
Oh my gosh! You know what? So I'm usually at the top end, so I really don't see much. But man, I don't know. I keep pushing for Alex Barker. I think what Alex is he gets like the B field.
More likely he'll be C or D field.
Okay, Alex Barker. That's my buddy. I'm a pusher for Alex. Of course, Blue Max. Come on, you got to do that. Man, I don't know. It's the begin. It's hard to answer that question because it is the beginning of the year. A lot of these teams have not even started their combination yet. They're going to test it out tomorrow and Thursday. So we'll see if that combination works. But I'll let you know on Friday.
All right. I'll be coming by.
Yes, sir.
We might even put you on Chaos YouTube and be like, and from the Competition Plus Power Hour, I'm following up on an answer here.
I'll have an answer for you.
All right. Good, man. Well, look, thank you for your time here on the Power Hour.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Director of Operations at the Texas Motorplex, Demarcus Rogers. Looking forward to see you.
You too. I'm gonna go back and finish my barbecue. Dude, I'll save you some. When you come, we're gonna go have some Texas barbecue.
Sounds good to me.
See you guys later.
All right.
See you, man. Well, love talking with the people of drag racing in so many different areas, and a good conversation with Demarcus there. And he is certainly a good dude and a good character and a part of the great team that is and makes up the Texas Motorplex. Tuesday, we're going to take a break. But when we come back, let's talk more in the world of drag racing. We got Phoenix ahead of us, Chaos ahead of us. We also had news dropped concerning, and from what I understand, unprecedented schedule change in the NHRA. I think, well, we're going to be going into the red line of conversation with all that we've got ahead of us. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to keep your motor safe when you go to the red line and any other product when it's metal to metal contact, it is red line I screwed that one up. Red line synthetic oils. Maybe I need some.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition and a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
I want to say thank you to Competition Products for that wing break. I was able to get my last wing in with that last commercial before transitioning to this time of the show where we just sit around and chat on drag racing. Dujanay, the NHRA announced today that we're going to have a 2-day national event concerning the Mission Foods Series. I don't believe that has happened in NHRA drag racing.
I don't think
and
so.
It is going to be, I think, a refreshing opportunity to see what might work. The principal change, Saturday, Sunday, 3 qualifying sessions on Saturday for the professional categories.
Yeah, I think that when I saw it, it was like, this is it. This is what we're looking for here. I think it, really puts forth some really good suspense here. You're talking about 3 qualifying sessions in one day. It shortens the length of time. Nowadays, dragging things out and this long festival, so to speak, doesn't really draw the eyes, and sometimes they don't show up on Friday. I love this, though. You talk about some of the best going at it, 3 qualifying sessions, and then look, man, you got the home run session in the 3rd session to decide the pole. This is going to be fun, and I think this is something that a lot of us have talked about, trying to shorten the length of days and maybe coming up with something new to be able to execute that and maybe draw in some fans that otherwise likely wouldn't show up on either a Saturday or a Friday for those reasons of longevity. This is smart, and I'm really looking forward to see how this thing goes off, because I really do think we're going to see some fireworks with 3 qualifying sessions in one day. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it is going to be fun, and it's also going to be, I think, a situation, depending on when that first session is and when that last session is, you very much so are going to have changing characteristics of that track.
Yes.
And frankly, it might even be a better test simulation, if you will, for Elimination Zone Sunday. honestly, having 3 in one day. Remember, you have 4 rounds of eliminations in one day, so 3 rounds of qualifying in one day. That's not unheard of, and it's certainly not unheard of in the sense that the pro teams proved, whether they like it or not, and I think they do like it. This is certainly something happening with their approval and with their interjection in mind. They did it at the pro shootout. It can be done.
Yep. I think they've showcased that, and I think this is something that we could see, in the future. I really like it, and it really just helps everyone out. You get one big crowd on Saturday, like you said, gives you the vast of conditions. That's one thing that bothered me. Your Friday night session is at a time where you're not going to be racing at that time anyway. It's just a hero session, especially if you only got 3 qualifying sessions. Then you come back on Saturday and you race in the heat of the day. You come out and qualify in the heat of the day for the most part. Not necessarily you get any data for when first round is actually going to kick off. So now this kind of helps out a lot of teams to get a well-rounded database going into Sunday of what maybe the track conditions, along with what they're producing as far as power and all these other various factors. It really makes for a better race day when you think about it. So I really think this is a nice little pilot, and I think this is something that can be adopted in several different places. Could you make it permanent? I think you could. And would it benefit teams money-wise? Absolutely. And would benefit tracks as well, because that means 2 days you're likely going to pack the house both days, because you don't have that lingering Friday of whether is that person going to take off work to go here, et cetera, et cetera. So so many wins here, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this whole thing plays.
I agree. I think there are so many wins here from the cost-saving measures for the teams, not only just for the teams, but for the track as well. And it's one less day of they can move things around. You can have a little bit more flexibility. In all this, remember that there will still be drag racing Friday. It's the Lucas Oil Sportsman Series. They will actually be on track. They will have action. So, folks, do remember that it's not, you're losing an entire day of drag. Right. Now that may be another step in the future, honestly, where a track is truly only having a 2-day type of scenario concerning an event, and I think that should be on the table of why not, how to have, if you will, NHRA sprint sessions to some extent, because I can remember growing up watching NASCAR. Man, they started on Thursday hitting the track, and they had like early practice, late practice, and first qualifying, and then break-in qualifying, and then happy hour, and I mean they had time on track all the way up to Sunday from Thursday most of the time.
Right.
So now they have shifted to where you take, for example, this past weekend in Richmond, they qualified and then raced the day up. Now, I don't think that can really happen in NHRA drag racing, the nature of drag racing, but condensing the show is a good move for NHRA drag racing. I can remember going to Friday at the Southern Nationals, which was the main day that my dad and I would go to the Southern Nationals. Matter of fact, until I was a young adult, I didn't actually see eliminations on Sunday. And the first time I ever saw eliminations, Dugenet, of an NHRA event, it wasn't even Sunday. It was a rained out Sunday, and they happened to be running Monday. And I'm like, might as well go down and catch this. But nonetheless, I can remember Fridays being packed out. But from, 20 years ago to now, something has changed. Something has shifted. And I don't see Fridays as well as attended as I recall. And I've noticed that across the country.
Yeah.
It is not just one region. It is across the country that if you have got that one session on Friday, people don't tend to show up. And I don't blame them, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, I think you either need to do what Virginia Motorsports Park is doing, and thanks to Tommy Franklin, the ownership there, for working this out with NHRA and teams working it out, and everybody saying, let's do this at the highest level of drag racing in the world, the NHRA Mission Foods Series. Or I think you've got to do it as Pacific Raceway is doing this year. They're still going to have one session on Friday, but it is going to be a true night session. And they're trying to use that as that draw. Experience Nitro at night, and it's set back where people can get there in time. I think that's really the only way you can do it with 3 qualifying sessions.
Yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, I agree too that when I was younger, it was Fridays were just as packed as any other day. Like, there was no like, oh, it's going to be light today. No, it was packed like it was on Saturday. And somewhere in, the last, handful of years, we don't have that anymore. And I do think there has to be a shift. And I think if you're right, if you're going to do something like that and you're going to have one session, you got to make it worth someone's while. It got to be after work, after hours on a night session. That Flames are going to draw anybody out there. Even people, your novice fans, are going to come out and want to see that. So I think this is something that now you might be able, if you can do this 2 days, then you can also do proper by the Lucas Oil Series and really have the opportunity to put them on display front and center for 2 days as well. And then everybody wins here. I think that's the move when we look at how things are going on in the world. I just think this is the right move. If it's not, don't want to call a Friday night session a gimmick, but if it's not like something that's going to attract and be lucrative for the fan to come out and say, yeah, I've got to go out there and I've got to see that, then I think changes have to be made in order to get the most, maximize the most out of your product.
And you mentioned that, maximizing the most out of your product. And I haven't seen too many mention this. I imagine you will have a 2-day ticket, not just a weekend ticket.
Right.
But I bet if they are smart, NHRA, whoever's doing ticketing, that there will be a 2-day ticket. And I imagine they will have tremendous sales of a 2-day ticket, opposed to just one being Saturday or Sunday. And you have the potential of increasing the Sunday crowd. Because something else I've noticed is Saturday is the most well-attended often day, and not actually race day for whatever reason. Now, I understand qualifying, the theory is there's more cars, I see more passes, I'm getting better bang for my buck with that ticket by not actually seeing eliminations. But I would argue the tension of eliminations is also great entertainment on race day. So I think if they price it right, 2-day tickets, if they have them, will be a tremendous sale.
Yeah, that's what Dave was saying there. I think that's what I saw there. He was talking about how much the ticket prices would be. I think there's a way to obviously there's going to be a way to make money, but I think there's a way to make it lucrative as well for both parties involved. And I see Lonnie says, how would that affect eliminations and qualifying for Lucas Oil? Would that be Thursday, Friday? I haven't heard anything about that, but to me, like I said before, this is an opportunity to put them and place them on a grand stage as well, like they should, and be able to, showcase them a lot more than you would have been if you had a one session on Friday. And we all know how that goes. If there's weather involved, they usually are the sacrificial lamb. So I think that would definitely be helpful for the series. And I'm sure all of the ladies and gentlemen that are in that the A Fuel classes would relish at the opportunity to be able to be front and center.
That, and it depends event to event. There's times, for example, Gator Nationals this year, they had a qualifying session on Thursday for the alcohol classes. And then they had qualifying sessions on Friday, and you have eliminations on Saturday, and then you have semifinals and finals on Sunday. So honestly, it's a little bit of a longer weekend for some of the sportsman racers than it is even the professional cars. I would imagine what they would do is something very similar. You'll have a bulk of the qualifying on Friday for the alcohol classes, and you will begin eliminations on Saturday for the classes. Depending on weather, they would attempt to wrap up the eliminations for the sportsman classes. So, but it varies from track to track. Not every track has that schedule.
Yeah.
And it just depends for the alcohol classes. And if I remember correctly, many of the alcohol competitors remarked that qualifying on Thursday was something new for them at the Gator Nationals. I had remember Pro Mod qualifying on Thursday in prior years, but this time it was the alcohol classes. So it does change from event to event and time to time with those classes. But I would also expect that they would still want several rounds to be on Sunday to keep the track rubbered in and things of that nature, and to keep the show rolling and on track. But what we can expect, those 3 qualifying sessions on Saturday and all the rounds of eliminations up to the finals on Sunday. We have folks, I know, Dugenet, it's astounding to me in an announcement like this how people are the ones that have like the most negative take. It deals with weather, and Andrew brings that up, and he's not bringing it up in a negative fashion in any way, but he's saying hopefully the weather is good on Saturday, and we all hope that. We all hope the weather is good on Sunday, but Saturday and Sunday. But I have noticed that there are those out there that they are shocked by this move, and they're like, "What do you do if it rains out Saturday?" Well,
you set the field as with the points,
yeah,
like you would have anyway.
That's the rule book. It's not unheard of. Now, it hasn't happened in a while for the nitro classes. I actually reached out to Mr. David Wazowski and asked him, and the statistician he is, and he said that the last time for the nitro cars that there was a no session and they had to set the field by points was 2000 in Dallas.
Wow.
So it has been a while for them, which certainly makes sense because he made a good point. What's the rainout policy and the refund policy? It's based on nitro, not pro stock and not pro stock motorcycle. It has been far more recent for pro stock motorcycle. Remember, there was a Gator Nationals where pro stock motorcycle had to be set by points, and actually it was from the points from the year prior, if I remember correctly. So there's even that precedence. And you also have it both for pro stock and pro stock motorcycle in 2020. I remember that. That was a wild year. At St. Louis all the way around, and weather was certainly an issue. But nonetheless, there's already precedence for if there's nasty weather on Saturday, hey, sorry, we lose out. NHRA does, fans do. Nonetheless, you race on Sunday, and the fields are set by the standings in the points. Does that suck for someone outside of 16? Yes, but that's just how it is.
Now, I see Drag Racing Mayhem says he says no clue why they don't race on Saturday, to be honest. But I would think that may work in certain markets, but then there's those markets where there's working people, and that will require them to have to take off Friday. So one of those is going to be weak. You're going to lose somewhere, and I think that would be something that you probably have to survey the market and then see how that would play off, and I understand that, they did that in Bradenton with all of that. They didn't race on Sunday, but it's kind of a market thing, right? You kind of have to know the demographics, so to speak, because I think, yes, could you do it? Sure. But I would almost say if you tried that in several different places where there's more of a working crowd, you're going to lose on Friday.
I agree with you there. I think shifting it back, and we already made the argument of why you're moving to Saturday. That's a similar play. And you mentioned the shootout. Well, if they had raced on Sunday, they're bumping up against, if I remember correctly, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
No, wasn't going to happen.
That's suicide.
And also, to your point, Drag Racing Mayhem, if you race on Sunday and you race on Saturday and then you have Sunday as a rain out, well, I don't think the NHRA is that concerned about it because they look at Monday with the professional cars as that rain out day. That's been the MO, that's been the standard. And if you lost on Sunday, whatever you get on Monday, great, we'll take it. But we got to get this event in.
Yep.
I think they would rather risk, instead of planning for bad weather, let's assume we have a sunny day, which we have more of, and you have a better opportunity to have full crowds Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's the better play. It's just hard. Friday is not what it used to be anymore. And I think, like I said, I think that have to be something you have to kind of study and understand the demographic and the group of people that would be in, because I don't think that works everywhere. A Saturday race day, I don't know if that would work everywhere.
And I think what is happening here is something that does not work everywhere. If you have a track that does have a traditional strong Friday, don't do this.
Yeah.
Keep your Friday qualifying sessions and keep your Friday. But if you're a track that is struggling on Friday, make this adjustment.
Right.
And like, honestly, I think this is something that the Fairplex should look at and make that ticket more viable, more appealing to the consumer, because that is one of the most pricey tickets overall in drag racing.
Yeah.
And there is an argument on value. So go ahead and let's try to condense that at the Fairplex as a possibility. I mean, I don't think this would work at the Texas Motorplex with what they're doing.
No.
Okay? It doesn't work there. This might work with the Pacific Raceways. Granted, what they're trying with a true full night session this year, that might be the ticket.
Yep.
I think where we are overall, it's not a nature of rigidity. It's got to have flexibility.
Yes.
Per venue of what works best with the NHRA coming to town.
Yes. And that's my thought, Scott. I see that taking away extra days, a lot of revenue. But for some markets, it's not. You know what I mean? For some markets, Friday is pretty thin. So if they condensed it to 2 days, they actually may increase revenue instead of, throwing out a day that darn well that, it's almost crickets out there in the stands. And there's a lot of revenue being lost, generating food, et cetera, because you just don't have the amount of people that you would normally, on a Saturday. So, I for some, probably not a good idea. But for, there's a good bit of tracks that could say, hey, we'll just do 2 days and we'll make the most out of the 2 days and we'll scrap the Friday. So, it can't be rigid. It definitely has to be a case-by-case basis. And I think this is something that helps track owners. It helps helps everybody. Everybody wins off of this, especially if you have tracks where your Fridays just are not lucrative.
Yeah, look, I loved my first ever visit last year to Pacific Raceways. There outside of Seattle in Kent, Washington. And it is a neat little facility. I look forward to going back. I may not be able to go again this year, but I look forward to going back. Great event overall, but it may have been the worst Friday in attendance I've ever seen.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And again, I'm not knocking staff. I'm not knocking facility. I'm not knocking marketing. I'm just saying that it is the worst Friday in attendance I've ever seen at an NHRA national event. But when they did have that pro session, if I remember correctly, it was like 5 in the evening. And, you still have people at work.
Mm-hmm.
And you are near enough to a major city. Traffic isn't that great.
Yeah.
and you've got people transitioning. And the transition to go to a race, it just wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
So I applaud them for what they are doing. Give this a shot. If it doesn't work, then somewhere like Pacific Raceways is probably a great candidate for a 2-day NHRA Mission Foods drag racing schedule.
Yeah.
But I don't think this needs to happen at the U.S. Nationals. I don't think it needs to happen at a Gator Nationals. I don't even think it needs to happen at a Epping. Epping tends to have a good Friday crowd.
They do.
So again, flexibility over rigidity. And this is something that, let's give credit to the NHRA. They are adapting. They are listening to the racers. They are listening to the teams. They are listening to the tracks. I mean, I'm frankly surprised they're going back to VMP anyway, because Tommy has been on record in that the national events aren't necessarily a win for VMP compared to other things that come to the track. So there's been talks somewhere that has made it advantageous for him to have that event again.
Right.
And that is all very positive. Is there still stuff to work on for the NHRA? Yes. But I like the flexibility. And, for everyone out there that rails the NHRA for not having 4 sessions of qualifying everywhere, that's not always an NHRA decision from what I understand. The tracks play a role in that, and there's extra money paid from the track to the NHRA, from what I gather, for that 4th session. So if you're a track and you have 3 qualifying sessions, it costs you less.
Yeah. And it costs the teams less. I mean, everybody wins in all of that. And I get the 4-session thing, but, like I said, flexibility, like we've been talking about, flexibility is key. And I don't mind it at all. I think it creates another level of suspense as well, because you got to get it right. There's no coming out here and thinking that there's no throwaway sessions when you have 3 qualifying sessions. You throw away one, you are behind the 8 ball come Saturday, and you've got 2 to make it right. And one, especially if your bump spot is a little high, your first run is an A to B run, and it likely won't get you the 16th spot in some cases. So now you're up against it, 1 session to go, and I've got to make this run count. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen because you got behind on Q1. So I do like the way that creates a different level of suspense. And again, when we're saving money for tracks, we're saving money for teams. That's always a win. That way, that keeps everybody going and out there. And that's important because money drives this whole entire thing. And I agree with you. Something happened there. That change was something for, Virginia Motorsports Park, because they were pretty adamant about the fact that it wasn't lucrative for them. And that's why they didn't want the event. And now we're back, which I'm glad we're back. There should be an event at Virginia. And this is cool. I like it. Something new, and like you said, NHRA slow, but it's moving, and that's important. At least it's moving.
It is important, and it is moving. I think it is slowly moving in the right direction, and it is worth the shot to see if it works. And I know, looking at social media, the announcement on NHRA, you had team social medias chiming in, and they were all positive, the ones that did chime in.
Yeah.
So this is something I think they are as excited about. And I agree, it is great to have a national event back at VMP, arguably the best surface in the country, if not the world, to do drag racing on. I hear that from so many competitors and people who tune, that is a phenomenal surface there at Virginia Motorsports Park. And the people there, the Franklins, are great people, and I certainly hope they have a spectacular event, and this can set a new standard within the NHRA. I hope that this flexibility is rewarded with good weather, and it is a showcase event of this is what we can do. And there's other things that play into this that we haven't even talked about, and I'm not even sure what it would look like. But if with this, how would TV packages look? Maybe there could be something else for qualifying that we haven't been able to have. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe that last session, you get a full recap of qualifying up to that last session, and the last session is live on network television, and that's in a primetime spot. I mean, maybe I'm just throwing that out there. There's no telling what all this could mean and could work out, and I think there's other things that the NHRA has got to look at for the future. People have thrown this out for NASCAR of middle of the week racing. Racing does happen in the middle of the week with many other types of series, especially dirt track racing in the central part of our country. You can start on Sunday and race all the way back to Sunday at north and south, up and down the plains of this country. So I'm not saying it needs to happen all the time, but throw in a special event. Maybe you do, as the NHRA, for the first time in many years, as the NHRA, the funny car versus Top Fuel during the middle of the week. Okay. And that doesn't have to happen every year. Maybe that's every 5 years. Okay.
Right.
But nonetheless, try something new. And I applaud them for doing this.
Yeah. And it doesn't affect the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty at all. You can still run that. Everything still works. And again, now you got 3 sessions, 1 day, Too Fast, Too Tasty. It's competition. Soon those cars hit the track, first round of qualifying. I mean, it's nothing better. I mean, it's so many wins in that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Right. Drag Racing Mayhem. What in 2020 wasn't an L?
Yeah, everything about 2020 was an L.
I mean,
we might as well just wipe that off of history and not even put it on the books. We just jumped from 2019 to 2021.
Right. and anything midweek has to be, I think, a special event.
Yes.
Granted, I will say this. Now, I know I'm talking about the NFL, but the NFL has figured out how to make Monday Night Football the thing on Monday night.
Thursday Night Football is actually a thing now. It's caught on.
Dujanay, I don't like that. I'm so mad about that. Thursday night used to be unknown small Division I college football night. And
That's
you got
true.
to watch them on ESPN, and now that's taken away.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It messed up the small stuff they're very fun to watch. Those teams are just as good as anybody else to watch. It did take that away, and I do see it as an extra money grab, especially now that you got these exclusive Thursday night games that are on Amazon Prime. It's like, okay, how many people are wasting their money to have Amazon Prime just so they can watch this game. Like, you know, I think they need to abolish the Thursday night game just for simple health reasons for players. Look, you're playing 18, 19 games. Fine. Just you don't need an extra midweek game that changes everything for some teams because they come in on a short week and it looks bad. So it's like, yeah, I don't care for that too much.
Right. I think the key is flexibility.
Yep. That's key.
Per venue, figuring out what works.
Yeah. And that's important. And I think they're slowly but surely doing that. And, you know, it's important for the health of the sport, to be honest with you. And really, it's not just going to benefit the health of the sport, but it's also going to benefit the health of the NHRA as well. So it's all good.
That's right. Dujane, anything else tonight, man?
I was see Andrew putting that there. I was very surprised at what I saw from Julie Natus on the article from Auto Week and her reference to not being able to get a top fuel ride, and basically she said that there really wasn't a bullseye on her back for winning a championship, as if it really didn't mean a lot. In some ways I disagree with that, but in a lot of ways I do, because I think that a person of her stature, there's no reason why, if she wants to step up to the next level and be able to be a top fuel driver, that she should. I thought me and Drag Racing Mayhem had a conversation earlier, and it's kind of like the best in college football. Your top 5, 6 quarterbacks not even being a part of the draft. You know, the objective is to inject youth into the sport, and she should be in a top fuel ride if that's what she so chooses to do. Me personally, it being crowded as it is, I would go to funny car, but there's no reason why she shouldn't be in a top fuel ride. And to me, it reeks of not what you're doing, your resume. It really is a money-driven game here. And in some ways that's okay, but you know, then you have the said person that buys his way into a ride. And does that person that buys his way into a ride, is he better than Julie Natus? Or he or she better than her? I'm probably saying absolutely not. So at some point we have to have that farm system, so to speak, because what ends up happening is these people figure out that, well, you know, not really lucrative for me to do this. I'm pretty much done with my career, with what I want to do, and they move on to something else. And we should be able to continue to inject youth into the sport, whether it's in the nitro classes, the pro stock motorcycle class, or pro stock. That stuff's extremely important for the health of the sport, and obviously to draw young eyes to the sport. She's a champion, a several-time champion. There's no reason why she shouldn't have had a ride this year.
I will say that it is a complex issue with the alcohol classes. You have a group that I'm not sure the NHRA understands what to do with them at times.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've talked to Jackie Frick, Sean Bellamere, those that are spokes individuals, if you will, for the class. And, you know, they've been adamant that treatment was not that great last year, maybe one of the worst. And you have someone such as a Julie Natus wanting to move up, and she doesn't have a ride for top fuel. You know, I will say, I will play devil's advocate for a bit.
Okay.
From what I understand, Julie has not earned her top fuel license. Well, if you haven't went out there and earned your license yet, then how can
Can't get a ride.
Get a ride?
Exactly.
So you've got to do that. Unless, again, I have not been able to read the article. I've been on the road all day.
Yeah.
Literally, first time I've stopped is do this show from walk-ons of West Monroe, Louisiana. Thank you for the wings. They were great. But I don't think she's earned her top fuel license. And if that is the case, then, again, it's kind of hard to get a ride without having shown, hey, I've got my license and I'm ready to do this. Also, I would say the way it is right now, you've got to do like what Cody Crone is doing. And you have to do some alcohol, but you have to get out there. You need to do 1, 2, 3 events a year at that level. Okay. Yeah. And put your name out there at that level. And as much as we want to say, oh, this is bad for the NHRA, I don't think it's just the NHRA. I think this is something that's happening across the board in motorsports. Now,
yeah, that is true.
The NHRA has a problem in that it has a longer maturity process. But it's no different than what is happening in NASCAR. Because the people who get the opportunities through trucks, Xfinity, up to Cup are those who, yes, they have talent, but they also have the best marketing partners. How many times have we seen someone in Xfinity move on to Cup who didn't win a championship, but they had the marketing partners to go run that Cup ride?
Yeah, that's money is huge. Marketing partners are very huge. And you're right. NASCAR, obviously, but I'll even say, even in the sport of drag racing, that is of grave importance. I mean, look, Jacob, I think his name, Jacob McNeil, had an opportunity. Funding went away for whatever reasons, and he's not able to do it. So obviously, it takes money. It can't just be. Unfortunately, it's not all just about the skill. It takes some money to be able to, do your thing in that regard. I'll also take the Buddy Hole route. If you really want to do something and you really want to get somewhere, sometimes you just gotta put your nose to the grindstone, do the work that's necessary, get your own team, and go racing. And sometimes you have to do that. And you may not be able to race the whole entire, schedule. It may take time, but those individuals have proven it. I look at Travis Shoemake right now, and look at the fact that now he's in the position now. He has his own ride. He's able to go out here and be able to now come out and debut here soon. It's important. He nose to the grindstone, didn't quit, had some things happen along the way, didn't quit, and he finds himself going to be able to debut this year. So sometimes you just got to do it yourself. Waiting on other people to do stuff for you, that's going to sometimes in the motorsports business, that's a long wait.
Right. And look, it's a complex issue. It certainly is a complex issue.
So many angles.
For sure. So many angles in it. And Julie's been working hard at it, and I fully expect that one day she will be up there in... Hang on a moment.
All right. Yeah, I think she'll be up there in the fuel classes. Like I said, with it being so crowded, man, I'd take the funny car route. It's less crowded over there. Not saying it's an easy path. I'm just saying it's less crowded. You're more likely to make a show and be able to be racing every weekend in eliminations in funny car than you are in top fuel right now. It's a log jam. Some of these races you're going to see upwards of 19 cars, 20 cars out there, and there's going to be a good car that's going to go home.
Right.
So I don't want to be a part in a log jam. Like I said, I'm a top fuel guy all the way, but I'd be in a funny car right now.
Right. Oh, by the way, I'll play devil's advocate here. for everyone saying Julie deserves a ride, and I don't disagree. Nonetheless, do we not see how things should operate in the case of Ida Zetterstrom, European
Facts.
champion? You have
Facts.
someone saying, hey, come over here to the States. We're going to work out a deal with your partners and our money, and we're going to get you in a ride that will get you over here in the States for the first time and put you in front of the NHRA fan base in the world in Top Fuel. You've done the work elsewhere. Now you're coming over here. We're going to give you a shot.
Yeah. And she's done it. She's definitely done it for sure. There's no doubt. So, and again, I think not only is it the opportunity, but I think what goes missing is the work that she's putting in as well to be able to be in this spot, to be able to get a ride. There's a lot of work that's been done on her side as well to make this happen. So it's not just a one-sided deal. It takes a collaborative effort. And sometimes, yes, you may have the championships and you've have a resume, but it also takes a little bit of work on your part to bring and make some things happen, especially in this business that is driven by having marketing partners and money to be able to run these cars that eat it.
That it's that simple. It's that simple. And it's not just NHRA. It is a motorsports problem across the board.
Yep.
I mean, look, I went to Anderson Motor Speedway last weekend to a local asphalt track and enjoyed some racing, sitting in the stands. Guess what? There's some people in some late model stock cars that are there because they brought money to that ride and they shouldn't be out there. That is as at every track across this world, people.
Yep.
It is a reality. And I understand the desire of the purity of let's have the best driver in a ride. I get it. I want that. But also, it's not happening. Sorry.
No, it's just how it is. You know, money is king. So sometimes it is what it is.
It is. It is that. It is that. And, you know, if you want to talk about people getting a ride and capable of doing so, then I think Jackie Frick should have a Top Fuel ride.
Facts.
You know, and I think also these are certainly things that NHRA could help, but I'm not sure it's actually in the wheelhouse of the NHRA.
No.
This is a culture issue amongst the teams and competitors. So stop pegging it there and stop thinking the NHRA is the NFL or even NASCAR. They are a different entity and they operate in a different way.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize, especially the professional classes. Now, sportsman classes, that's a different argument. But with the professional classes, just how much the NHRA does say, yeah, we'll do it your way.
Yeah.
Well, why are we running 1,000 feet?
That was a team deal. That was a team deal.
Yeah.
And again, you know, I don't think I'm wrong by saying Tony Pendragon was part of the more than likely part of that leadership group because he had talked about many a times about trying to slow the cars down, giving more, you know, room for shutdown. There were several combinations that had been run as well, motor combinations as well that never got off the ground, but they did run them and test them out. So yeah, that was led by racers. That wasn't. I know a lot of people will say NHRA, but that thing was led by racers, for the sake of racers, and don't have a problem with it either.
Right. Now, you know, Dave W. and Drag Racing Mayhem, they have gone in a direction that I think is a noteworthy discussion. And I think you've got things like Antron Brown Motorsports and what he is attempting to do will get back in that vein. You have someone like Don Perdome. He had his ride with multiple cars in the two categories, and he was putting talented people in. And you don't always see that be the case right now. I think there are examples, one of them being Ida Zetterstrom as a case. I even say that Daniel Wilkerson getting the ride, Tim, does, though there's a family connection. I think that's a similar scenario, but things like that do need to happen more in the sport. I think that's why it's so critical that Antron Brown's motorsport development program, it's so critical that it's successful.
Yes.
Because we need more of that in NHRA drag racing. And
Yeah.
you also have the Maynards doing programs that are in the sportsman categories with junior dragsters. Joe Maynard is a part of it, and Ida is a part of that too. So you've got some new development programs, and it would be great to see that continue. And I think someone like Caps, I could see in the future him doing that because he came through such a program. But it's also a balance. Dave W. mentions Jackie Frick is very similar to this. He's like, hey, Frank Manzo dominated in Top Alcohol Funny Car and never went to Nitro. You talk to Sean Bellemere right now, you're like, hey, would you run a Nitro car? You're like, yeah, it'd be kind of fun, but I got the best deal in drag racing right here. Why would I leave?
Right.
So, and again, it kind of comes full circle how we began this. Alcohol classes, Top Alcohol Dragster and Top Alcohol Funny Car, are in a strange place in motorsports, period, because they're not a true stepping stone class.
Right.
They are not even a true sportsman class, I would argue. Many of them are professionals, yet they're not considered professional. They are in a weird place right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because, I mean, personally, I would run in Top Alcohol and be fine. I don't think that there needs to be I don't think if you want to go, then that's fine. But I don't know if there's this, because it's its own class, and I don't like the fact that they act like that they're not called professional, because they are professionals. That is a professional class. They just run different fuel. Like, I don't understand that. And a lot of people are okay with being there, making a name for themselves, and going on and riding off into the sunset when they're done. And I think you should be able to have that choice. Right. No one says you have to go to. I don't think Nitro is the end all be all, and you're not great unless you've driven a Nitro car. I don't think that's the case.
Right, and I think many competitors, they understand that. They'll look at a Sean Bellemere and they're like, "Oh, one of the greatest of all time."
Right.
They recognize Frank Manzo and what he's done and is capable of. So on and so on. Jay Payne and others, and yes, very challenging to define the boundaries of that category.
Yeah.
Top Alcohol Dragster and Top Alcohol Funny Car, for sure. But again, this is an issue that is far beyond the NHRA. It's a motorsports issue.
Yep.
I think one of the most glaring right now, though I think she is talented, but she needs more maturation time, Haley Deegan on the NASCAR side of things.
Yes.
Okay? So this is an issue across the board.
Yeah. I agree. That's the difference. Like, that's the difference in motorsports and stick and ball sports. At least if you see the talent in a person and he or she just need a little seasoning, and they can go to a minor league or D league, or you can sit them on the practice squad, whatever. Here, there's nothing like that, really.
No.
And if you've got the ducats, you can be an unseasoned driver driving in a big time ride, and nothing anybody can do about it. Why? Because you have the money to be able to put yourself there to do that. And it's unfortunate to a degree, because could you imagine with a little seasoning what she could be? But now you're having to learn a big time ride with the pressure that comes with that, and you're learning on the fly pretty much. And sometimes for some that works. For others, that does not work. And it hasn't really worked that well in her favor to this point.
Right. Well, I know this. I'm confident Julie Natus is going to find that top fuel ride. She is working to that. She is tenacious. She got her championship in top alcohol dragster, and a little bit of a rough start already in 2024 in the title defense, but I'm certain Randy Meyer and her driving, they're going to turn things around and be right there in the thick of it toward the end of the year. And Julie Natus, in round 1 of eliminations of some national event in a top fuel dragster, I'm certain it is going to happen one day. When that day, I'm not sure, but I'm certain it will happen. But that article is a greater talking point on motorsports overall than just the NHRA, I think.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. I got to keep rolling down the road, Mrs. Bland. It has been a great show. Thank you, Demarcus Rogers, for your time. Chaos this weekend. You can catch it all live on the Funny Car Chaos, Nitro Chaos YouTube channel. It's testing Thursday, streaming Friday, and eliminations on Saturday. So everybody, be sure to tune in. Dujane, good show, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun, and we'll be back at it again next Tuesday.
That is correct. Everyone, good night.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it P. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.